All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and the X Zone is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you 5 days a week right here on Classic 1220 CFAJ in beautiful St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, and on the X Zone Broadcast Network. If you'd like to find out more about the X Zone, visit us online at www.xzoneradiotv.com on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And to listen to the great music and the great programming on CFAJ, check them out online at www.classic1220.ca. We're going to be talking about my favorite topic tonight, and that's angels. And joining me from Prince Edward Island in the beautiful East Coast of Canada is the angel lady herself, Karen FORREST. And we've had the pleasure of having Karen on the show many times before. And Karen, it's always great having you with us. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be back.
What's new with you since you and I last talked?
What's new? I've been busy with family, aging mom, sick
Okay.
sister, family affairs that happen at my age that I'm taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been keeping me busy. But I've also been getting excited about going away in February with my nephews, going to Mexico because it's the first time they'll be down there. So we're looking forward to that.
And I would imagine the angels have been keeping you busy as well.
They're keeping me busy. I've been also doing some work with guest speaking at the libraries in October, talking about ghosts and haunted houses and interesting topics like that, along with angels.
Mm-hmm. So for the listeners who haven't had the opportunity of hearing you before, tell us a little bit about Karen FORREST and how she came to be involved with the angels.
Sure, yeah. I've always believed in angels, and I believed in God, but kept my beliefs pretty simple with that. And I've always had strong faith. I was not into talking to dead people as a child or even an adult. My background is actually retired military mental health nurse. So I have a Bachelor of Nursing with advanced diploma in psychiatric mental health nursing. So a lot of times in my angel readings and mediumship, I'm actually bringing a lot of counseling and focusing on healing because that's my educational and job experience through my military background. So I didn't always plan on talking to angels and dead people. I took extensive training for that, spiritual training, just before I retired from the military. Once I retired from the military, that's when I started more extensive work in communicating with angels and dead people for a living and writing my angel books. I have 4 published angel books.
What was it like the first time that you, Karen FORREST, realized that you had the gift, a God-given gift, of talking to the angels?
First time, really, when I realized it was overwhelming. It was emotionally overwhelming because I felt when I was taking time to sit there and communicate with God and angels, I felt overwhelming love, and it overwhelmed me in a great way. But I remember sitting there literally crying. I was in the middle of a course called "Learn to Talk to Your Angels," and I had tears pouring down my face because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually getting messages, and how much love I feel, and I just take the time to sit there and connect with a divine source. So it was overwhelming in a good way.
When we were talking just a few minutes ago, you were saying that you never talk to dead people.
No.
What's it like being able to talk to dead people?
What's it like? It can be very amusing. It can be very amusing for sure. It can be interesting and entertaining because their personalities come through. It's completely different than talking to angels. Angels are always very even-tempered and calm and peaceful. When I speak to the deceased, I am picking up on the humanness and their various personalities and the way that they speak. So it's always entertaining and interesting. Sometimes a little shocking because they can be very blunt compared to when I communicate with angels. The way that they'll say the same message, they'll say the same thing, but how they word it will be differently. And it's just it's a little more work for me when I do mediumship, talking to dead people, because I have to control it more. It's like having all these people trying to talk to me all at the same time. It can be a little bit overwhelming if I'm not careful. Where with angels, I don't get that feeling at all.
When you go out in public, or let's say you go down to the grocery store or
Yeah.
anywhere, are you inundated with these people trying to communicate with you from the other side?
I was at first until I learned to control it. I absolutely was, and it was annoying in my everyday life. It was not fun. It was overwhelming because I'm trying to go about my business, and dead people realize I can hear them. And then, of course, they're trying to talk because they're more intrusive, or angels or not. I can go about my business, no guardian angels trying to talk to me if I'm in the bank lineup. But it's different with dead people. So I had to learn to put some very tight controls on that and boundaries with the angels acting as my bouncers so that I can go about my life and not be constantly bombarded by dead people trying to communicate with me. So I have very strict boundaries and restrictions on that for dead people.
When you were in the military as a nurse,
Yeah.
did the angels or dead people try to communicate with you then? Or did this all happen after the military?
It was before I retired from the military because that's when I started to take training, 2 years before I retired from the military. So often in the military as a mental health nurse, I would often trust my gut instinct, which is also divine guidance, and any good medical practitioner will trust their gut instinct. But it was a little bit different. It was different when we started going into the dead people part, because at first I was very resistant to communicating with dead people. I really wanted to only focus on communicating with divine source and angels, not dead people. So when I was still in the military, working as a mental health nurse, and I remember the first time it happened, it was very bizarre to me, but I was dealing with grief counseling with some soldiers whose their colleagues, their other soldiers were killed in Afghanistan. And because they're talking about them, I'm tuning into their energy, I'm picking up, and they realize I can hear them, so they're starting to communicate with me. So the first time that happened, when I wasn't expecting it, didn't know how to control it, it threw me off because I'm trying to listen to my client in front of me, my patient, this soldier, who's talking about another dead soldier who's now trying to talk to me. So it was actually very bizarre, and it threw me off. It threw me off. It was a little weird.
What has been the pinnacle of your angel communication career so far? What has been the highlight?
Really, the highlight still is my private sessions when I can help people move forward in their lives or help them in their grieving process or help them become unstuck. It's still my private sessions that I love doing the most.
Have you had the
opportunity? I've written books and I do workshops and whole bit and guest speak and I've been guest spoken on cruise ships and everything, but still my private sessions I love the most. And it's still the pinnacle to me.
Have you ever seen an angel?
Yeah, I see them on a regular basis. Yeah, I see them as usually as colorful lights. So I see them as circular lights in various colors depending on which angel I look at. So, for example, Archangel Michael, I will see him as dark purple circle, or Archangel Jophiel, I see as pink, and then sometimes I see them as you would expect an angel to look like with the wings.
Right.
Too, in what you would normally see in pictures. Yeah.
Are angels more frequent at Christmas time, or is there any other time of the year that they're more communicative with people like yourself, or are they always there?
No, they're always there. They're always there. It's just people might pay more attention to them at Christmas time because they're paying more attention to their faith or religious beliefs, and that might bring their attention more to their angels. But they're always there. What I do find, though, just realistically in my experience in my work, the busiest time of year for me. Christmas is mediumship.
Really?
At Christmas, I am flat out busy. I only take 3 days off work because people are missing their loved ones in heaven, and they still want them to be part of the holiday. So I get very busy at Christmas doing sessions for mediumship.
When you communicate with someone on the other side as a medium, where do these people communicate from?
I have no idea where they communicate from. That's the question, right? I know they're in a different realm. They're in a happy place. I use the words heaven, a higher vibrational level than when we are here on Earth, and that's as far as I can describe it. That's where they are coming from. I couldn't tell you any more than that myself. That's a good question.
You brought up an interesting point. In the Christian faith, Catholics, and so on, angels are part of the Bible. But what happens if someone is of a different religious belief? Do they have angels as well?
They have angels. Absolutely, everyone does, whether they use different terms. What I work with my clients is finding out what term do you use so I can be respectful of their term. Some people say, look, I only speak to God or Buddha or Allah or Jesus or Mother Mary or guardian angels. I'm like, whatever term you use, for as long as in my definition it's a divine source, I will communicate and use that term.
When you were a little girl, did you ever have any idea that you one day would be talking to those who had passed on the other side, as well as talking to angels?
No, not at all. No, it wasn't in my upbringing. Wasn't part of my background as a Roman Catholic. It is nothing I knew anything about. I'm not a third-generation psychic. My parents didn't do this. My mother didn't do this. No, not furthest thing from my mind. And even when I was being divinely guided to talk to dead people, I'll still resist at first, going, come on, that just sounds weird, and I don't know if I really want to do this, but I finally honored it and did it, but I was resistant at first. So I certainly was not doing that as a child, no.
Why do you think you were chosen?
Yeah, I sometimes wonder that myself. Why me, God? Why did I have to do something as weird as talk to angels and dead people? I really would have been just as happy to have retired from the military and continued as a mental health nurse. But that wasn't my path. I honored my path. I always will. I think it's because I am, as a counselor, because I have the counseling background, I can bring more into my sessions than a typical psychic could. And my focus is helping people move forward and heal. And because of my counseling background, I can do that.
Exonation, my guest of this hour is Karen Forrest, and she is the Angel Lady. She is a communicator with angels. She communicates with divine beings. She's also a medium. Her website is www.karenforrest.com. Karen and I will be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, and on, are you ready for this, X Zone Nation? Classic 1220 CFAJ here in St. Catharines. And for more information on the great radio station CFAJ and the programming they have Pete Dichter, they have Danny Z, and of course my good buddy Chuck LaFleur. Visit www.classic1220.ca. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Our guest this hour is Karen Forrest. Her website is www.karenforrest.com, and we're talking about angels this hour here on the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. And Karen, why do people come to you, and how can angels help people in their day-to-day life?
Sure. People usually come to me because if it's an angel reading, it's because they're on a crossroads in their life, or they have some questions about their lives or concerns going on in their life. If they're coming to me for mediumship, communicating with those passed on, it's because they're grieving. They're grieving, or they just want to bring in their family members passed on as part of a celebration like Christmas, holidays, birthdays.
Has it ever happened that someone has come to you to communicate with someone on the other side, and the person that they're trying to communicate basically says, nah, don't want to do it. Don't want to talk to them.
No, that's never happened, and I always reassure people about that. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years. Never happened. It's the opposite. They're so wanting to talk. Now, some deceased people are quieter than others, so they might not say as much, but they're absolutely there and sending their love. So then I will ask more questions of the quieter people. But I've never had someone say, no, I don't want to talk. I was worried about that at first until I became experienced and realized, no, that's not going to happen. On occasion, they might decline talking about a certain subject or answering a certain question, and that's normally sensitive things like it comes up and someone says, did my father have an illegitimate child? And Dad will just say, I'll just not talk about that. So occasionally they might not talk about a certain subject, but they'll never not talk altogether.
A lot of people say that when a person passes, they go to the light. When you're communicating with these people, are you communicating with them on, where they are, wherever the light is?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's so cliche, but it's so true. Literally, when someone passes on, they're going to the light. And when I work with earthbound spirits, which are dead people who are stuck and haven't crossed over, I am literally telling them, for heaven's sakes, go to the light, walk into the light. So, and when I see their souls, when I see dead people, people often ask, what do dead people look like? I see dots of white light because I see their soul. So I can't tell you what they look like when they're alive because I see their soul. And so they all look like little beautiful circles of white light around someone's body to me.
Do they have senses of humor?
Yeah, they most certainly do. And that's what makes it so entertaining when I'm talking to dead people, because their sense of humor will absolutely come through in the way that they word things, because my main way of receiving messages is hearing, so I'll hear full sentences. So they're making fun of things and teasing people and joking around. They absolutely have a sense of humor. But so do angels. Surprisingly, angels will have a sense of humor too.
Angels have senses of humor? Wow.
Yeah, they do. I'm surprised. Yeah. Yeah, that will sometimes come through. The sense of humor in the way that they'll say something and joke around too. Yes, and to encourage people to lighten up. People need to lighten up a little bit more. And angels will encourage that. So the sense of humor will certainly come through at times. But definitely with dead people, that it will come through. If they're funny when they're alive, they're still funny when they're dead in heaven. Yeah.
Have they ever, I mean the people who are on the other side who have passed, do they tell you what happens when a person dies?
They often talk about that. Often because that's unfinished business for my clients. They want to know, are they okay? How did they suffer? So they tell me, they'll often talk about what it was like before they died and whether or not they did suffer, and they're honest about that aspect. But consistently what they'll talk about is that angels will take them to the afterlife, but they're also greeted by another dead person who were, of course, passed on before they died, one of their relatives, and I refer to them as the human greeter. So they'll have a greeter along with angels that say, look, I'm taking you, you're going to light, I'm scooping you up, and you're coming to heaven with me. So they consistently talk about that.
I understand that angels help you heal, and how do you do that?
Yeah, I don't do it. The angels do it. How the angels do it, honestly, I don't even know how they do it. I just ask the angels to do some healing, or they'll say we need to do some healing, and I'll notice what they're doing. Like I can see what they're doing sometimes, or feel it, or hear it, but I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that they're doing something, and that's why one of the reasons I quit nursing and was acceptable about quitting nursing is that I could help my clients mental health wise, spiritually wise, heal faster when I'm working with angels than if I didn't allow a divine being to come through.
And what kind of healings do the angels do through you?
They will do any type of spiritual, physical, health concerns. Mm-hmm. So often people are asking, for example, like, I have arthritis, what can I do? And I'll ask angels, okay, we should do some healing, but also what can a person do to help themselves? It's a two-way street when it comes to healing. It's not necessarily about, hallelujah, praise the Lord, we're going to cure someone. That's not it. If you're dying, you're dying. Yeah. We're going to help you through the dying process and make it as easy as possible. But there is certainly healing that can be involved, too. A lot of it's removing fears or blockages people have to help them move forward. That's a lot of the healing that's going on.
What kind of blockages would they be?
It can be, usually it's your mindset, right? It's your mindset. You can be sitting there saying, I don't have the guts to do it. Well, we're going to do a healing meditation to help you have more guts. Or I don't think I have the strength. Well, we're going to do a meditation to help you get into and tap into that divine strength that you have to do it. Or someone have a mindset, for example, saying, I don't believe in myself. I'm not worthy of this. Well, then let's heal through that blockage to help you heal enough. It won't be 100%, but enough to say, let's move through that so that you believe you're worthy enough to make changes in your life. So mental health-wise, I've noticed a big difference working with angels, much faster, easier, deeper healing and aid than what I could do when I worked as a mental health nurse without angels.
Do you help people of all ages? Do you help children? Do you help seniors and everybody in between?
Yeah, and everyone in between. My main clientele are in their 30s to 60s, but I will have, of course, parents say, look, I have a concern with my child. Can you help them? Well, yes, of course, the angel's going to help them, and I'll facilitate that process. So in that way, I do. Now, the kid's not paying for me. The mom and dad's paying for this session. But yes, I help children too. So all ages.
When you're communicating with the angels and they're helping you, or they're giving you help to help someone that you're acting as a mediator with,
yep.
Do they give real advice for real problems?
Yep. Oh yes. That's why I love working with angels, and that's why I tell my clients they're not vague. They're going to be very specific. So, for example, today I had a woman coming to me who needs to end a relationship, and we got very specific advice on how to do that safely. And it's not a matter of saying, telling her husband, I'm going to leave you. No, that's unsafe in her situation. It's very specific. This is what you need to do first, A, B, C, and D. This is how you're going to do it to be safe about it. So they're very specific. They'll give you specific guidance on, like, I get a lot of questions about careers, jobs. Should I apply for this job or that job? And I'll ask angels, these are yes, no questions. This job, no. This one, yes. So they're very specific, and that's what I like. I don't like vague. Vague does nothing for me or my clients. I want specifics.
When connecting with angels, do people feel more peaceful because the help, the advice is coming from the angelic realm and just not somebody on the other side? That's
right. They do feel more peaceful. Not only because the advice is coming from a divine guidance, or I could be speaking to a deceased person too, and they can give advice because they're working with the angels too, the dead people, but also because of the fact that in that moment of time, my client is connecting with the angelic realm and feeling that peacefulness from the angels are surrounding them. So all my focus is, let's help you feel these angels and feel their love and feel their peacefulness so that we can move forward in this session. Then they do feel peaceful in that moment.
How do you feel when you're communicating with angels? How do you feel physically?
Relaxed. That's what, relaxed, which is nice because I'm a very busy person. So it's nice to say, oh gosh, I can feel relaxed for a few seconds here when I'm connecting with angels and communicating with them.
Do you actually hear the different voices of the different angels?
Their voices will all sound the same to me because when I hear them, it's as though I'm talking to myself. Will hear it more in my own voice. It's rare that I'll hear the deep booming voice coming down from heaven. That's only in emergency situations that I would hear that. So, for example, one time when I was driving and I heard Archangel Michael like flat out tell me, slow down now, when I was driving, and I heard that as a deep booming voice coming from heaven. And that tells me, oh boy, I need to listen. Normally I'm going to consistently hear it as my own voice. So it's learning to discern, am I talking to myself, am I crazy, or am I talking to angels or dead people?
That brings up a point. How do you know when you're not actually communicating with your inner voice or communicating with one of the angels?
If it's your inner voice, to me that is the same thing as your angels. But if I'm just sitting there talking to myself, like say, for example, I'm putting myself down and I'm talking negative, angels don't talk in a negative way, so I know it's me versus an angel. So I can tell by the tone and the words. Angels also are very simple with their language. They don't babble on. So they get to the point and say what they have to say.
You know,
so I've learned to be able to discern that. And the other thing, especially with my clients, it's easier. It's much easier because I'm not creative enough to make stuff up. I'm just not. It's harder to discern it when it's for myself.
Do those on the other side still keep an eye on us on this side?
They absolutely do. They're constantly watching out for you and being a part of your daily life. And that's what I enjoy about mediumship. I always let the deceased person speak first because they're going to tell me something about you in your day because they're so involved in your daily life. And it's always entertaining what type of mundane things they're going to be talking about. Like, for example, today I was speaking to a mom who's passed on, and she was showing me an image of a freezer, and she was looking in the freezer, and there's a lot of stuff, and she goes, oh, there's a lot here, you should do something about it. And she was trying not to insult the woman, but I told the woman the message I was getting, and she laughed. She goes, I just bought 2 new smaller freezers today because my big one is so deep I can't reach the bottom of it, and it's filled with stuff, and I'm trying to reorganize it. And it was a moment. I know, I'm part of your daily life. That's why they talk about mundane things like that.
Karen, stand by. You and I have to take our next break. X-Zone Nation, our special guest is Karen FORREST, and she's the Angel Lady in Prince Edward Island. If you'd like to contact Karen for a one-on-one consultation, her website is www.karenforrest.com. That's KarenForrest.com. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, and we're coming to you on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and on Classic 1220 CFAJ here in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
She's a laugh in the dark. She's an amusement park. She'll turn a saint to a sinner, make a loser a winner.
I'm Rob McConnell, and welcome to the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Today on the X-Zone, contacting the dead by phone. Can you contact the dead by phone? Thomas Edison kept his machine secret until they were patented, so little is known about what he may have planned but never completed. However, in 1941, a blueprint was found in New York for a telephone to contact the dead, and this was allegedly to have been Edison's plan. It may have well been a fraud. However, in any case, a model was made from the design, but unfortunately, it didn't work. Contacting the dead, fact or fiction, the quest continues in the X-Zone.
I was waiting for so long for a miracle to come. Everyone told me to be strong.
Welcome back, everyone. Karen Forrest is our special guest, and if you're interested in angels, Karen has 4 great books that are available. The first book is called, just a second here, I just had it. Oh, there it is. Angels of the Maritime. Second book is Canadian Angels. Third book, Angels of the Maritimes, Volume 2, and Angel Lady of the Maritimes. Once again, her website is www.karenforrest.com. And Karen, can you tell us a couple of stories that you've covered in your books?
Sure, yeah. Trying to think offhand. I remember one story was about this child, because I had a few stories about children. And there's a young boy, he might have been about 6 years old at the time, where he was asking angels for help. And I always think it's wonderful when parents teach children how to ask angels for help at an early age. But anyway, he was outside playing around, and of course he lost his glasses. They fell off in the snow, and he's like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. I lost my glasses out in the snow here somewhere. Mom's not going to be happy because that's expensive, and I hope they weren't stomped on. So we finally said a prayer and said, angels, please help me find my glasses. And within a minute, he found them, and they were not damaged. He didn't even have to ask his mom for help because he didn't really want his mom to know at the time that he lost his glasses. So I always love it when children ask angels for help in their daily life, too.
The stories that you write about in your books, where do you get them from?
Oh, a lot of them are some of them are from my clients, others from people who know me as the angel lady, so they just love to share stories. They email me saying, I've got my own angel story. And then what happened was I started to collect the stories, not even realizing at some point I'd even write a book, but I started to collect them. And then when I came to write my first book, I took out these pieces of paper I had and thankfully had collected and started writing the stories from there.
How can people know if their angels are around them?
How do they know? That's up to them. You have to have faith sometimes. I really encourage people if you really want to know, you gotta put some effort into it. You have to sit down and hang out with them and put your awareness to them. Because if you're going about your daily life and you're busy, you're not putting any awareness to a divine source or angels. You're not. You're too busy. So if you want to know they're there, go hang out with them. That's one thing. And the second is, ask them for help in your daily life, because when you start to see how they can help you in your daily life, then it's hard to pretend that they're not there when they're helping you out.
When people are calling you up and they're asking you for angelic intervention, what is the most pressing question? You were telling us before that it's about their job, or is it
jobs?
Yeah.
A lot of it's relationships. Should I be in this relationship, or more, they know they shouldn't be and they need to get out, or the relationship's good, but how can they keep it strong? Or, I'm having a shaky relationship right now with my child. What can I do to improve it, or how can I support my child when they're going through a tough time? Any type of relationship, work relationship, my coworkers drive me nuts. I hate my boss. What can I do to improve my workplace and my relationship and communicate with my boss better? So anything to do with relationships and romance are very popular questions.
Do you think the angels ever get the attitude, oh, come on, can't you figure that one out? Do we really need to tell you what to do?
No, that would be me as a human being. An angel doesn't do that because they don't judge, and they don't label anything small or big when it comes to questions like I do. So no, there's no concerns with that with angels. That would have been me as a therapist at times going, really, you need help with this?
Right.
but as a human, but as angels, no, absolutely not.
I guess I'd be
and your loved ones love to comment too. They'll talk. They'll tell you what to do.
I guess I'd be a lousy angel because I'd say, get out of here. Figure it out. Pull your big panties up, Nancy. Come on.
Yeah.
You know the answer. The answer's right within you. Look in the mirror. That's where the problem is.
Yeah. They don't judge, thankfully, like I would as a human. They're much better at that than I am as a human and as a therapist. So, yeah.
How long does it take you to communicate with the angels?
That's instant. There's no time lapse.
No way.
It's instant. Yeah.
Do the angels, I because they've been around since the beginning of time, they know the past, they know the present, but do they also have the ability to know the future?
You know, I can't honestly answer that. They will talk about your future in short term, but the thing is, I tell my clients, your future is going to keep changing because of decisions you make with your free will.
Because that's right, free will plays a big part in everybody's life. It sure does.
Plays a humongous part in everyone's life, yeah. And angels don't judge you. You have free will. You can do what they guide you to do or not. That's up to you. They're not going to punish you, but your life will be harder if you're not following your life path. So do they know about the future? I don't know how many options they know about the future. I don't understand that concept in my humanness, but I know that your future will vary and change depending on the choices you make every day.
You know, Karen, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for many years now. And one question I'd like to ask you is, has there been a change in the way people ask you questions or the type of questions you get now? Are they different from before COVID, and are they different now? Or it's just the same old, same old?
Yeah. The only difference I've noticed with COVID is that there are far more many anxious people in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing far more people coming to me with kids and teenagers that are anxious and adults that are anxious. So that is the difference I have noticed. Is the anxiety level with people have skyrocketed, and people become a little more socially awkward, and they're still trying to reintegrate into being sociable, even though we're a couple of years past COVID. So I have noticed that. Yes.
I would imagine as a mental health nurse that you can see a lot of differences and a lot of changes in society post-COVID.
Yes. Yeah, anxiety, people are stressed. Some people, though, with COVID, on a good note, have re-examined their lives and I'm starting to realize what matters and what doesn't, and paying more attention to that, and saying, okay, with COVID, I've been able to spend more time with my family and realize I actually like to do that, and I want to commit to that and continue to do that. They learned how to slow down. Some people. I've learned to slow down. That's a good thing out of COVID. But unfortunately, the main thing was anxiety levels through the roof.
How can our listeners who are listening to tonight around the world, how can they connect with their angels?
I tell them, don't make a big deal of it. It's really simple. You just sit down and say, look, angels, I want to connect with you. And that's it. You hold the intent, and you be quiet for a minute. That's all you need to do. It's not a big deal to do it. And then trust what comes to you. But you got to take a minute to be quiet.
And how do you establish the identity of the angels that you have?
You can ask who's around you, because everyone's got an entourage of various divine beings and various dead people around them. So you can ask at the time, who's around me? But then that does take experience to learn different energy. For me, it's a little easier. People are like, how do you know it's Archangel Michael versus God versus your guardian angel versus Raphael? Well, because I've sat down with each and every one of these over and over and over again to experience their energy, so I'm used to it, familiar with them, and know them when they come through. And that takes practice.
What's it like for you to be one of the very few people that I've ever spoken to? In fact, you're the only person I've ever spoken to who said that they've talked to God.
Oh, I love talking to God. It's just like angels. I love talking to God. I always have. It's how I was raised. I've spoken more to God as a child than I did even angels. Although for a while I alienated myself from the term God, because for a while the term to me meant fear, and I didn't want anything to do with that, or judgment, and I wanted nothing to do with that. So for a while I stopped using the term God. I'm like, no, I don't like that term, because to me it just means fear and judgment, and I'm not hanging out with that. So I just used the term angels. It took me a while to reestablish that rapport with God.
So how do you deal with skepticism?
I don't, because I don't care. I just let people be skeptics. It's okay. They don't have to believe in it or believe in me, so I just say nothing.
Are you finding that there are more believers now than there were 5-10 years ago?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's more people having more of an interest in having a personal connection with angels, which is why I'm so busy with private sessions. Still, to this day, very busy with private sessions. And I don't even advertise. People find out about me through word of mouth. But I've noticed in the last 10 years, a far more increase in interest in people saying, I want some type of divine connection, personal connection, and find a way there. That's why I'm busy with private sessions and workshops. Yeah.
Now, how long does an angel reading take?
I do half-hour, 1-hour sessions. I find half an hour go by pretty quick, but they're good for follow-up questions for people.
Has there ever been a response to a question that has been asked to the angels that has just floored you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's why you don't want to ask Karen Forrest what she thinks, because there's times when people ask, and I'm in my head, I'm like, really? That's the answer, angels? I wouldn't have said that. And usually it's things like, especially my clients I know well, and they're regular clients, and then out of nowhere they're saying, oh, they got to quit their job and do something else. I'm like, what? That didn't come up 6 months ago. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's on a regular basis that comes up. That's why you don't want me. You want the angels, because I'm often surprised by what they say.
Unreal. Karen, please stand by. We've got to take our final break. And Exonation, once again, if you'd like to visit Karen's website, if you'd like to get a one-on-one consultation from her, her website is KarenForrest.com. And Karen is the author of 4 books. The first book is Angels of the Maritimes. The next book is Canadian Angels. Third book, Angels of the Maritimes, Volume 2, and Angel Lady of the Maritimes. And once again, her website is KarenForrest.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as my dear friend and I wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us on the X Zone Broadcast Network and on Classic 1220 CFAJ. And for more information about Classic 1220 and the great programming they have, visit www.classic1220.ca.
And the world thought I had it all, but I was waiting for you. Hush, now I see light in the sky. Oh, it's so.
Nobody can tell you there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell you, 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you've gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna
And welcome back, everyone. Before we get back to our guest, this final segment, Karen Forrest, just a couple of house cleaning. What we call them? Craig, what was that? House cleaning notes. I like that. The X Zone Chronicles is the X Zone Chronicles. The X Chronicles is available online with our compliments at www.xchronicles.net, and the new X Zone Christmas store is officially opened at www.xmas. What was that? I said it wrong again, didn't I? All these new stores are really sending me for a loop there, old friend. xzonexmas.com. Wow, there we go. First of all, Karen, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always a great pleasure sharing time with you.
Thank you.
Now, not only are you an angel lady, but you also deal with ghosts and cleansing of houses, getting rid of those nasty varmint ghosts.
That's right.
How
That's right.
did you get into that from being an angel lady?
through progression with my work. I was divinely guided to do the work, but not right away. I needed the experience of doing angel readings, getting very good at understanding energy, knowing how to take care of myself energetically, getting comfortable with speaking to dead people, and then from there progress to the point that God is saying, look, now you got to do house clearings, which at first I was resisting because I'm like, oh, that's just a lot of heavy-duty, crappy energy that you're dealing with, and I didn't really want to do it, and God's like, no, you're ready for this, I'll teach you how, and I knew from some courses and training too, but he said, no, you got to do this, so I started to do this, but that was probably good 10 years into my work before I started doing house clearings.
Is there a difference between what we call ghosts and those who have passed and gone to the other side? Because as I see it, if a ghost had gone to the light, they wouldn't be here.
That's right. Yeah. In my terminology, a ghost is a dead person who's stuck. They haven't moved on. They haven't crossed over into the afterlife, so they're stuck. So my focus is getting them unstuck, trying to help them cross over, because it is a soul. I would never want to see a soul stuck.
Where, in your opinion, has been the most haunted place that you've gone in to clear up?
Yeah, the most haunted, the worst, the absolute worst one I've ever done, and it was horrifying, was a Catholic church, the same Catholic church my parents were married in Nova Scotia.
Oh, hold on here. I thought
Catholic church.
I thought a church was hallowed ground, that there would be no ghosts there.
Nope. It was horrible. There was lots of ghosts.
Really?
Not only ghosts, but even worse than that is what I call the opposite of God, which is, God in my term is pure love and pure light, so that'd be pure fear and pure darkness. So I call them not earthbound spirits, but just simply negative entities. And it was horrible. And very unexpected because it was a church.
Can you share some of the experiences from that haunting?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, when we went to, I never liked the energy of the church. I used to walk by it on a regular basis because it's near the beach. So I go to a park near the beach, but I never walked into the church, knowing that it was a church my own parents married, but never felt good. So I'm like, I'm not going in there. I'll park my car near it, and I'm going to go for a walk on the beach because I never liked the energy. And then when I went to clear the church, because I thought one day, I just got to clear this. And I was working with the angels. Now, the angels do the clearing. I'm the human facilitator. But literally, at the beginning, the Archangel Michael basically pushed me aside energetically, like I visioned myself being there, pushed me aside and saying, you can't get that close. You can't be that close. I'm like, really? Because anytime I do house clearings, I see myself right in the house, or I'm physically in it, but normally I visualize being in it. And he said, no, it's not safe yet. You can't do that. And that warned me right away, this is not going to be a fun one. This is not going to be good.
Fascinating. So how do you get rid of these ghosts?
Yeah. I don't, God and Archangel Michael do. I just facilitate the process. I make that very clear to me. It's not Karen Forrest that's doing this. I facilitate and I get paid. God and Archangel Michael do the work, and other divine beings. So what they do is they contain earthbound spirits, and if they need my help to get an earthbound spirit to move to the light, I will, as a human facilitator, help with that. And they remove the negative energy or entities and replace it with pure love and pure light. So the angels do that. My job is I'm watching and paying attention to what's happening.
So when we're talking about negative energy, are we talking about demons and sheer evil?
Yeah. Yes.
I still can't understand or fathom the idea that a church could be haunted with negative entities. Wow.
It's hard to believe.
It is.
But that church had a lot of history, not only in the church. It's an old church, but on the land. Because I asked angels, how can that be? Come on, like you would think it'd be better. It's a church. But I've also known my realities, and I've seen it in churches from my upbringing as a Catholic, is that churches are still led by human beings. And if a human being, I don't care if they say they're a priest or what they are, or they claim to be, if their energy is low and they don't have good energy, that's what they're attracting in. So some churches are better than others, depending on the leaders of the church.
Is that why some bars and some restaurants and some hotels are haunted because of negative energy?
Negative energy or what attracts. I don't tend to like bars or hang out in bars because you get more drunk people, and then you get drunk people, you get ghosts who don't want to cross over because they don't want to give up their addictions, so they're trying to find someone who has a similar addiction to themselves, so they hang out in bars. So bars don't feel good to me, or don't tend to feel good to me at all. And some hotels could be the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
How can people listening tonight know if their house is haunted?
They'll know because it doesn't feel good. They don't like it. It doesn't feel good. Or there's certain areas of the house they don't want to be in, or the animals won't go in, or the kids won't play in, or it feels creepy, or they'll see dark shadows, or they'll feel like someone's touching them, not in a good way, like it doesn't feel like a nice warm hug. Or literally things like objects being moved or misplaced. It kind of varies as to what they can feel. But mainly people will come to me saying, it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It feels creepy. I don't like the way it feels.
Have you ever gone into a cemetery and are they haunted too?
Yeah, they can be. I remember one time, me just trying to be a normal person in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, a very old cemetery. I walked through it with a friend of mine. We're actually out looking at Christmas lights, and she said, let's cut through the cemetery. I'm like, all right. And we did. And the next thing you know, we're being followed by a ghost, an earthbound who had not crossed over yet. And my friend knows I talk to angels and dead people for a living, and she knew I was responding to something. She can tell I was picking up on something. And she goes, what are you seeing, Karen? What are you feeling? I'm like, there's a female ghost here. And she keeps following us because we got a lot of light around us because I had protection on us. And the ghost was trying to cross the light. So she kept following us around. So I told my friend, look, I just need a minute to help cross this ghost over and get her into the light and move her soul along. My friend's like, okay. So yes, it happens. As much as I try to be normal, it's not always easy.
How do you know if you're successful or not when trying to put somebody or get somebody across to the other side?
Oh, yeah. When first of all, it happens really quick. It only takes a matter of seconds to help a soul cross over. So I've always been surprised how quick it is. I know it is because literally it goes back to I see light. I see them literally move into rays of white light. And I'm like, oh, and there they go. And I can feel like a popping sensation.
All right.
I'm like, oh, and there they go. They're gone. But it doesn't take long. I've always been surprised, still am, as to how quick I can help facilitate a ghost cross over into the light.
Once they cross over into the light, do they ever come back?
Not as a ghost, no. So they go about with their soul progression in the afterlife, so they don't come back as a ghost, no.
Karen, I've got about a minute and a half here. What are your final thoughts, and what is the message that you'd like to share with the X-Zone Nation tonight?
I tell people, take some time to have your own personal connection with a divine source, whatever name feels most comfortable for you, because it varies with each person. Sit down with them. Just hang out with them. Treat them like a friend. Hang out with them. And then you're going to feel more peace in your day. And do it throughout the day.
Do angels try and communicate with you by dreams as well?
Yes, they do. I don't receive that as often myself, although other people receive more messages in their dream state. But both your loved ones in heaven and your angels will communicate in your dream state.
So what's next for Karen Forrest? What are you going to be doing? You were telling me before we went on air that you're going on vacation with your nephews down to Mexico.
Yes, I am.
Doing more lectures, writing more books.
I'm not writing any more books right now. I keep getting requests to, but I'm not being divinely guided to. It's really, it's going back to the angels keep saying they need me to do private sessions. That's my focus. I'm doing less workshops than I've ever done, even though I miss doing them. I like doing them. But they're saying, no, we need you for private sessions. People need help. They need one-on-one. They need to move forward. They need healing. And that's what your private sessions are for. So I'm pretty much flat out busy with private sessions. Having said that, people can get in normally within a week to see me because I do this full time. People think, oh, you're going to wait a year. No, that's nonsense. I've always told God I will not have people wait more than 2 weeks to see me.
Well, you were mentioning your workshops. What would people learn in your workshops when you were doing them?
It varies. So they're very specific. So, for example, I have a chakra clearing workshop that'll teach you on how to clear and balance your chakras.
Right.
I have another workshop on financial abundance, on how to improve your own financial abundance through spiritual tools. I have another workshop called Spiritual Hygiene that teaches you how to take care of yourself energetically so you're not being drained by other people. So I have probably about 20 different workshops I've developed over the years.
Fascinating. Karen, as always, time goes by so fast when you're with us. To you and yours, I don't think I'll be speaking to you before Christmas. So from our home to yours, it is nearly Christmas. So Craig is saying, no,
Yes.
not Christmas yet. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can't wait. I love Christmas.
So to you and yours, a very Merry Christmas. Have a safe trip, and I hope that you and your nephew enjoy your time down in Mexico. So take care of yourself,
Thank
my
you
dear
so
friend.
much.
Always a great pleasure
Thank you.
talking to you, Karen.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Karen. Exonation, our guest of this hour was Karen Forrest. Her website is www.karenforrest.com. That's KarenForrest.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as the X-Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, and on Classic 1220 CFAJ here in beautiful St. Catharines, Ontario, where you can listen to all the great programming that they have. You can listen to Pete Dichter, Danny Z, and of course my good buddy Chuck LaFleur by going to www.classic1220.ca. I'll be back. Don't go away.
One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know